Hey guys, Driftwood here. I'm going to be looking at my album that recently just came out and go behind the scenes in all of the songs. So, the first one we have a look at here is Why. Starts off with a simple serum patch. It's just a saw wave. That's it. This is the main thing. Let's go to where it's like actually. Another random serum patch, kind of. It's pretty cool. This is custom, I think. No, it's just a square wave. So it's a square and then this wavetable thing. I don't have a lot of like external wavetable things for Serum yet, so I just kind of use the ones that are included. But there you go. This is the sound. It's got all those effects are disabled besides chorus and EQ. And I have a flanger for this part. And reverb. And then behind that there's also a bass. It just sounds like this. This is essentially just a square wave with a filter. That's it. Bass boost a little. For the drums, it's mostly Vengeance samples. That's just how I do because I don't really have many options. I have this thing that I put in here. It's just a saw wave with a weird delay and reverb. And it stops. Then I have this, which is not my voice. This is a text-to-speech voice.
Why?
Saying why. The name of the song. This is my phone noise. I don't remember how I made this. This is two detuned sine waves. That's it. I'm gonna try to make it as close as possible to the sound of a telephone and then pitch it down. This is that sound. I froze it so I can't see it anymore, but this is this sound. It's basically just that. That wavetable. But I froze it because there was like some weird variations with it. So it's just all the same sound. That's what that looks like. It's got this dimension thing on. And this is obviously using the formant filter, which makes the voice sound. And that's just a solid square and also a sub. So you get bass. And then this is the Plux. I'll make it like this so you can kind of see what all the notes are. It starts off very basic and then I add more. It's got that thing where it starts and ends with the same chord, but it's a major, minor, seventh. I don't really know. I'm not really good at music theory. This is like the big ending part of the song. And of course I have this, which I made sure and saved as a MIDI because I will never be able to recreate this. Basically just goes up the chord. And it does that. And then this is just a mess. I don't remember how I did this. It has the bass notes here. Just like this too. It has the same kind of thing. Whoops. Yeah, this is underneath the main thing. Yeah. And then obviously. That's a very catchy thing. Sounds really cool. That's basically it. I originally came up with these chords a long time ago. Like that was 2 years ago I came up with this. But I never actually made it into a song for a while. Alright, on to the second song. Next up we got Memories. Starts off with this melody, that's the whole thing. This is kind of the main theme of this whole album. I've used it in a lot of things. It just does that. And we have chords. Starts off really quiet and eventually gets a lot louder. Very simple chord progression here. That I thought matched this, because I came up with this melody like 3 years ago. No, it wasn't that long ago. No, it was just a year ago. Here, I actually have the original song in Reaper. Let's load up this thing. This is obviously what I used before Ableton. I found Ableton to be a lot. It took me a while to get used to after I got used to this, but the name of the song is from an acronym my Spanish teacher taught us. And then this is the first time you see it. It's this one. It's this exact same melody. This song is pretty cool, but I'm gonna close this. It's obviously gotten a lot more professional sounding, I guess. Oh, and this, both of these are just saw waves. There's really nothing. This is an edited version of a preset. And the drums, besides that melody, are what I came up with first. I never grouped these. I'm gonna regret that. Got a ride cymbal thing. Got some random samples. This clap. All these are Bender's House 2 samples. I was too lazy to do anything else. And then we have a vocal chop thing. A bunch of effects on it. Bit reduction, EQ. And then we got this thing, which is from a free plugin. Sounds really cheap, but I kind of made it work. Kind of sounds like the default MIDI sound or whatever. Then we obviously got an LFO thing going here. And I added more notes onto the chords, which basically just those going back and forth. Oh, and we also got this. No, not this. No, what is it? This one. There we go. This is just a soft plug. Switching ears. You can see that there. This song is filled with automations the whole time. You'll see that there's a bunch of stuff going on, and this is for changing it to the between those two sounds. We changed the cutoff on that the whole time. Left and right ear swap. Turn the reverb up for this part of the song. These are the breakdown chords. And the second half of this is drive, if you listen closely. And those are actually the chords to drive, except I changed them up a bit. My favorite part of the song, we got this coming back in. One of the only songs with a drop. Actually, no, most of them have a drop in quotes. But that's the drop in quotes. It's not really a drop. Alright, I'm done looking at this. Now, this song was originally in the same folder as my remix to Blue by Eiffel 65. Because it's from that kind of, like, took something from my remix and made this bass. I don't remember, but it's called Blue Groove. It used to be in that folder though. Yes, you're gonna notice some of these have different file names than the actual song name. This is the cool bass. I'll show the things going on here. Look at this. This is doing the cutoff. It's more visible here. This bass took me a while to figure out. I named it more bass. It's basically just an FM on a sine wave from another sine. Like if I turn this off, it's just like a sub bass, and that gets it to sound like a bass kind of. It wasn't supposed to sound like a real bass, of course. And then I have a pitch shift here. If I turn that off, it's really boring. Yeah, that sounds groovy. At the very beginning of the song and in a few other places, we have this. There's a sine wave with the isotope vinyl plugin. This is really good. I recommend it. It makes like a vinyl sound. You can hear it. You can hear it in the background, like kind of changing the sound of that. Yeah, there you go. We got some drums. First things I came up with were the bass and drums. We got alternating ear cymbals. We have that. I don't know why I needed that. And then this has reverb that comes on every once in a while. And then this is that one sound from that one deadmau5 song that nobody knows about. It's the same sound from that. Then we got a cheap piano. Here we go. And we got this 80s sawtooth lead thing. And if you want to see more, I think I actually made this whole song on a live stream. So if you go to my main YouTube channel, you can click on, I have other channels over on the side. And one of them is the the live stream archive channel. So if you go there, I think it's just called Making a Song, but it's me making that song. And I also did Drive on a live stream. Those are the two that I did. And basically they were derived from other songs I already had. This one was a remix of another song, but I changed it up. You can't even tell it was from the same song. I think this is the only indication, these chords. Yeah. I think if I change this to the blue thing. Yeah, so if I put this on, you'll hear it. Yep, it's the same. It's the same chords from that remix. Alright. But it's different enough where you won't even notice it. That's about it for this song. It's very simple. There's mostly just bass and then some chords and a lead thing. That's it. Next up, we got Costa Rica, which was originally called Lift for a while. You'll see it here. It's called Lift. And this is basically the main thing. It's just a typical detuned pluck. That's lagging for some reason. I don't know why. There we go. Very basic drums too. I think you know where this is from now. We got sub bass and then also this. I use this in a lot of songs. It sounds cool. Again, all saw waves. I didn't really do much with this. Now I got this pitch shifted and under a bunch of different effects and chopped up. So I think I'm okay. Next up is Our Final Days, which was basically me trying to come up with the most edgy sounding name ever. I don't know why. It was originally called fucking Snell's Law, like from physics. Which is a stupid name, but this one I've had people say it sounds like a Muse song. I kind of get that. We got 2 octaves of saw wave. And those were the notes I came up with first. This is what I came up with first, basically. And then I came up with everything later. Without this top note, which is basically a mini melody. It's just chords. And that adds something cool to it. For the drums, this is a very slow tempo with triplet notes. We basically got this hi-hat thing. This one. Going in the background. And then every once in a while there's... And then we got 2 layered snares on top of each other. And I use this one also later. Sounds pretty cool. Then eventually a kick drum. Alright, and this is the main kind of sound of this song here. It's this. We got a cutoff thing going here where it does that. This is the sound. It's square plus this thing plus this dimension sound. Also, by the way, I am using his skin, so it doesn't look the same as default, but I like it a lot better. It just looks so much cleaner. And this is constantly moving. This is shifting the wavetable position. So it does that. It gets a really unique sound. And then I also have a saturator, a flanger, a ton of effects just in general. And that's the result. And then eventually I add these chords on. And then this, I reuse this melody yet again. I find this goes with everything. I can put it in any song, it would work. But yeah, it's more of a background piece here. And we got my custom electric piano serum sound here, along with the... Yeah, let's go with this first. This is basically just using FM again, except with kind of wonky sine wave, and then a filter. Don't have any other effects. Creates a really cool result though. It sounds super neat, and these are the... So if you want to look at that. Why is it not playing? Oh yeah, because it's quiet at first. It's basically the same chords from before, with a bit more actually, because then we got this. This is a a sawtooth wave, and then a higher pitched sine wave, because it sounds kind of flat, just like that. So I added that. Sounds neat. And then these are notes. These are custom made, it's not in arpeggiator or anything. Because I wanted to make it more interesting, I guess. And... ends up with a very like dramatic kind of sound, and also dubsteppy, but not really. That's not dubstep. It's just kind of a weird thing I did. My friend requested me to make this video, and his favorite song is Decay, so there we go. Starts off with drums first. Pretty basic. And then I added a shaker on later. There we go. And the bass is pretty much the exact same kind of bass from before. It's even it's even the same preset that I made. Although this is a bit different. So you kind of have that attack thing going. And I used the filter a little bit more. Other than that, it's the exact same bass from the other song. With one of these on, because otherwise it sounds kind of dumb. We got chords here. We got a dissonant thing. And this is just a saw wave with a filter. Forgot to mention pretty much everything has sidechain on it, so it doesn't mess with the kick drum. Then I added more notes later. Basically just one note on top. Sounds exactly the same without this. This is a really old melody that I came up with. I've been working on this album for like a year now. Because all the songs are just like, I couldn't finish. So I was just like, what now? I don't know, what now? And the breakdown is this melody with these chords, which is just a plug. I should show this one. It even says Y80 synth. It's the same exact preset from Y. This is like a very 80s kind of sounding thing. And also I have this. This is whatever that one is. Another custom ARP-ish thing. Arpeggio thing. The bass is what brings this whole song together, though. Next song. Now, I don't 100% like the result with this, but I think it's mostly fine. This, again, is the same kind of bass, because it's the FM thing, except it has this. That makes this kind of Daft Punk-ish sound. It has a multi-band compressor on it, too. Otherwise, it would sound super muddy. And then this is all manually done. And this is switching between the two frequencies on this, which are the two like sounds, mouth sounds, I guess. And it's some very basic drums. And I added this on later. That's just going in the background. That is from another Reaper song that I will actually show you. It is from an idea I had for a game that I made the soundtrack for. And this was supposed to be whenever you were driving a car. I might never release this, so... Basically, I had an idea for a very 80s style game, and I made a bunch of music for it. And also, we have this electric piano sound. Oh, what did I do? If I turn that off, it's annoying. Yep, and then the main melody here is really old. It's from a really old version of this song. See, it took me like less than a year to actually make all of the songs bit by bit, but a lot of them were based on really old demos that I had from a while ago, from like 2008. This one is mostly songs from like 2018. I got a classic deadmau5 style plug. These are super easy to make. If anybody's looking to make any music with this kind of sound, it's super, super easy. It's just a saw wave. Then you put this on a filter. So it plucks like that. And that's it. Oh, and detune around 12. And max unison. And there you go. Now, you gotta come up with the chords, though. This is my thing. I like to put a lot of notes that wouldn't normally be in the chords, like. So it would normally just be kind of this, and I added on so. But then I added a 7th and 9th notes. And it gets a really cool result. And this one's a bit more out there. Like those are the main notes, and I add this. And it sounds really cool. Alright. And also I got this thing that occasionally comes with the song. I think these are 32nd notes. No, they are 64th notes, kind of, I guess. It's just trying to make that old school 8-bit sound, and it's just a pulse wave. No real fancy effects or anything. And that's it. Next up is New Beginnings, which is just called New. It's just called New because it was just a random new idea I had. These are kind of random chords. Kind of like ascending and descending chords, and it's pretty random, and they're just 7th chords. This is kind of an uncommon thing. And it also has a bass note thing. Alright. Which is the same as this bass. Get back to that sound. This is the first time I ever tried, or I saved this preset. The weird electric piano thing with the FM and the sine waves. Originally I had this, which sounded pretty cool. It sounds more full like that, I guess. Really simple drums the whole time. Doing the reverse clap thing. And then very simple thing. Might recognize that. It's another random sample. This is an 80s thing. It's the same as the Y1 again. I reuse this. Although I tweaked it a little bit. I think this is also from the game soundtrack I made. This is a custom arpeggio thing, and you might recognize this. Very similar to a certain song from a certain game from the 90s. Alright. And we got the actual like melody thing starting here. This is just kind of me placing random notes as I go along, like I usually do. And then this saw square with a saturator. And then I have the higher note too. And then this is a random cheap plugin for glockenspiel, I think. I don't really remember. With reverb and stuff. This is the end of the song. And these chords stay exactly the same throughout the whole thing. Alright. Now on to my favorite song on the whole album. One that you can watch the whole making of on a live stream. I'm kind of going to go through it here. Here's the main chords. Lots of notes, as you see. And this is from Dunes. From the breakdown of Dunes. But tweaked a bit so it matches this. Obviously there's a bass. And my stupid sample. Going through a lot. It's a vocoder and it's being controlled. Ignore that. Get rid of that. The vocoder and it's being controlled by these notes. Which is just serum. Saw wave with an LFO. And then that's getting run through a vocoder with these. If I turn it off, you can hear the raw vocals.
Come on, let's try.
I said this on a live stream with this exact same microphone. It's really funny. That's why the song's called Drive. It says, come on, let's drive over and over again. But then obviously you can't hear it's me when it's like this. Come on, let's try. And very typical like vaporwave drums. It's very inspired by Ohm and his kind of synthwaves music. And then we got this. I'm pretty sure this is the Y synth again. No, it's not. It's just a saw. And then we also got this. Yeah, this is totally inspired by like 80s-ish stuff, but I guess more modern. And these are versions of the chords that don't do this. Just as that. There's a lot of stuff going on automation-wise. The cutoff with the, what is this? The decay, actually. You can hear it get, like, tighter sounding. Right here. And this is a filter. High pass filter. And then this is decay is really high, so it goes for a while. It's the same chords the whole time. Eventually it loses bass note. Alright, on to the next one. The 10th song on the album, aka 10. Which is a weird coincidence, but it's really funny. And you'll notice the weird time signature already. It's 5-2, which is the same as 10-4, which means that like it's 5 half notes. One of these is 5 half notes for a measure. These are just chords. Just 5 chords. Very simple. But then I also have a handmade cutoff thing because I was gonna use an LFO, but I couldn't because of the weird time signature, so it just goes this. And obviously the drums are still fine, they're still danceable, I guess. Sounds very like 90s house style. And obviously because of the weird time signature, it has this extra snare to signify that, I guess. And bass. It's really not interesting. And then I have this melody. Takes advantage of that whole weird time signature thing. And then it also has the same sound in a electric piano. Not to mention all of these are pretty much just like saw waves. This one is this actually. Yeah, you can see here where I attempted to make an LFO and it just didn't work, so I just had to do it all by hand. It's a very chill sound. And on the end here, I enabled the sub, I think. Yes, and that's just a sine wave. And it's like higher notes that are exactly the same, and the ending gets kind of creepy because it has this plugin, which I'm making it warp a lot, which makes it go up and down in pitch. And that's it. Here's actually an unfinished remake of an old song that was supposed to be on this, but I never finished it. It's very early, and it's based off of the original, which is here. I tried to remake it here. So far it sounds pretty okay, but I never finished it. Guess I didn't like something about it, and also I just don't like the song anymore. Forgotten, which was originally called Inspired by Deadmau5 because, you know, all of my music is. It's supposed to be kind of like that classic 2008 progressive house kind of sound. And simple chords. I came up with this on my laptop. It has this top thing. And eventually I add on top of even that, going back to like old Deadmau5 style songs where they just he just keeps adding notes on top of the chord. Yeah. And it eventually has a very high note. And yeah, that's how I do that. And also I have a bass here. Not a normal sub bass, it's actually a saw triangle and sub. And then I have these like reverbed kind of pluck thing. And the drums are very simple. And this is where I started doing the whole fill thing at the end of a measure. Does that. And then here I turn a delay on that'll repeat it. And this is a shaker with tons of reverb. It's a reversed shaker loop with a bunch of reverb, and it just kind of makes a one tone that's really high pitch. This is a very laid back kind of song. And here, I'm turning up the cutoff while I also lower. I can't even see what I'm doing because. Okay. I also lower the. This. You see that shrinking? So it doesn't make the pluck as much. And it ends up turning into like one kind of note. With sidechain, and also this is the drums are actually grouped here and they have a filter. And then I turn up the decay right here and it does this. And then it just kind of goes back to normal, and that's about it. Very minimalist song, I guess. Sounds very chill though, and it's nice. Last song is 1998. I came up with the chords when listening to the Windows 98 sound slowed down, I think by 69% as a joke. I can actually test that in Audacity right now. This is what I did. Alright, here's the Windows 98 startup sound. Really old school. And then change speed. Let's see if it's 69. It is. And that's how I came up with the chords for this. It's exactly that. Turning it down by 69%, and then I came up with. Actually added on a note later. This was the original chords. You see, I basically added on the notes that I heard in the Windows 98 sound. And then that's the result. Drums, there's actually a lot going on here. Now this song, I'm actually gonna have to turn up for OBS because this one I made a little bit quieter because there was a lot going on and it was too loud before. Basically, layered claps, a kick and closed hi-hat thing, and a fill. And this is actually not in the final version of the song. I use bass samples. Yeah. That I actually cut out of the song. And then this is part of a really long sample from the Avengers thing, and it's just some woman breathing before singing, and then this is the singing but with a bunch of reverb. And then this is an electric guitar sample. Sounds really cheesy, but I put it in anyway because I don't care. And over time, I layer on more things like this guitar. And then this is a version of the chords with an extra note added on as a pad. Yeah, that sounds cool. And then this. Oh, this is for the breakdown. This is the thing. Crushed plug. It's one of the only times I used a random serum sample that was pre-installed. Now that I look at it, it's essentially just a saw and then the downsample distortion thing, and that's it. Where's the main thing? Here it is. This is like the melody, I guess. It's again based on the Y one, but I changed it a bit. And it's sliding. And that's it for my album. And this is obviously based on a really old song. Alright, and I'm done. I'm just gonna end the video here. Thanks for watching. Go check out my album. It's on Spotify and Apple Music and all those other services. And it's on YouTube. If you go back to my channel, I have a playlist of the official videos for each song. Alright. That's it for me. See you guys later.